You're now at the Place de la République in the center of Paris. What's the situation there?
Well, there is a military helicopter flying above the square. We've got hundreds of protesters that are gathered here. This is the end of the protest. These are the people that are kind of diehard protesters. Some of them are here to pick a fight with police. Others are here to loot. In fact, there's an athletic goods store, a sporting goods store across the way on the square that protesters were targeting just minutes ago, trying to smash down the window and possibly loot the goods that are inside. There's a lot of riot police here as we speak. They're charging the protesters, trying desperately to disperse them, but they're not really going anywhere. These protesters, they're chanting Macron démission, or they're calling on Macron, the president, to resign. And in response, the riot police are throwing tear gas, sometimes from afar, sometimes from closer up. They're also throwing stun grenades as well. That's making a lot of noise and a lot of commotion. But as you can hear, that military helicopter overhead, the situation is definitely being closely watched by security forces here at the Place de la République, and they're desperately trying to disperse the protesters to put an end to this day of protesting and at times looting and rioting as well.
And you've been following today's demonstrations throughout the afternoon. The demonstrators you spoke to, do they seem to be planning to pursue their movement further?
Well, they want what they want. They have their demands. We've heard many versions of these demands because the organization is not. There is no clear organization for the Yellow Vests, so these demands are not very clear. One person will say one thing, another will say another. But they're focused in large part around money, about how much money they get at the end of the month, how much they have to spend in their day-to-day lives. And in fact, it's interesting to note that the stores that were most often looted were the most expensive stores. They were luxury goods stores. They were big brand names. The smaller brand names, or those that were less expensive, those were not really targeted. We also saw insurance companies targeted, banks targeted. These are clearly at the heart of the demands of the Yellow Vests to move the capital away from the hands of only the rich, and also to have a greater distribution of wealth among the French people as a whole.
Shona Bhattacharya reporting there from the Place de la République. Thank you very much for that update.